Hi, Kylie here and welcome to my plan with me for November 2024. So this month, if we remember, we're doing paired themes. This month the focus is on fairies, whereas last month it was on mushrooms with fairies as the sub. So this month it's fairies with mushrooms as the sub theme. So I'll still be using some of those bits and pieces. Okay, so it's the end of October. Just the end of October, but yeah, I decided when I was drawing this up, you'll see I've already drawn all the boxes. So as I was going through and sort of sketching in all the little vignettes or the little drawings, I just decided I'd, do all the pen work on the boxes and do all the titles and everything else because, I fast forward them, speed them up to 2000% anyway. So I'm sure none of you are going to be distraught by the fact that you don't watch me draw boxes anymore. But yeah, so I just decided I'd do them and take them out of the video, which, I don't know, hopefully you're happy with that. I can't imagine why you're not. So drawing in the title page, on the right-hand side, I've got the word November in a banner with some sort of floral embellishment around the top and bottom of the banner. On the left-hand side, I've got a little fairy that's got a butterfly that's landed on her hand, sitting on top of a mushroom. And it's a nice sort of big, I end up painting it blue, but it's a nice big cap mushroom, so quite rounded. I actually had quite a lot of fun drawing this month. So drawing the fairies, it's quite different to the sort of stuff that I normally draw. I don't often draw a lot of people when I'm drawing for me. So I do draw an awful lot of people in the work that I do for businesses and, when I'm doing graphic capture and those sorts of things. They're very stick figure-y type people. They do have bodies, unlike stick figures. They do have bodies, but they do have just straight lines for arms and legs. They don't have any real dimension in their limbs. And they definitely don't usually have hair. And they often don't have facial features either because of the nature of what I draw in my work. So it was quite fun to actually draw people. I had that a little bit earlier in the year when I did the sort of like portrait gallery type thing for my theme. So yeah, it was a little bit fun playing with fairies this month, and hopefully you'll see that in the drawings, and you'll see that I had a little bit of fun with it, which was nice. So I've done the colour palette the same as I did last month, where the bolder colours of things, so everything except the fairies is in a colour palette that is Decadent Pies. Just completely forgot what it was. And the fairies are all done in the Vintage Pastels colour palette, so from the same company. And I really, I don't know why, but I've decided that fairies are pastel. It's just a thing, and there's nothing you can do to convince me otherwise, which is just crazy. It's just a stylistic choice that I've made, but I quite like them being pastel. Having said that, sometimes I do use the gold from the Decadent Pies for their hair. So when I'm making them blonde, sometimes I use that to be a little bit more pronounced. And I think I've used a brown for one of them as well. So yeah, my word for this month is enumon. The bittersweetness of having arrived here in the future, finally learning the answers to how things turned out, but being unable to tell your past self. And this is, of course, from the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, which I forgot to write when I was writing up the word. But yeah, I sort of quite like that, where it's like, so yeah, I was right. This did turn out okay, or oh my God, this was a nightmare. But it's that of, your past self never actually knowing how their decisions have actually turned out, whether they were doing the right thing or not, whether, this was actually a positive thing. So yeah, I quite like that as a word. So for the first week of the month, because there's only 3 days in that week that are in November, I decided I'd put the reflection page on the left-hand side because otherwise it would be all by itself at the end. So it's just got on the left-hand side. And then I've drawn just a little fairy sort of examining a flower. And there's another one that's examining a flower later, which is a little bit more intense, but this one's just looking at a flower, which I think is a little bit cute. And you may notice that the boxes don't have titles or days of the week. I did go back and fix that. I just completely, it was just not clear to me that I hadn't done that, which was interesting. It's amazing what you don't see. All right, so the week starting Monday the 4th, I've got, on the left-hand side, I've got a little fairy that's holding a match, like a little torch, lighting her way. And on the right-hand side, I've got a fairy with a basket that's travelling along on the top of a snail. And yeah, I brought snails over from last month as well. It's really random what I decide to draw and how I decide to draw them, but hey, that's pretty much my world, is pretty random. So October has been quite busy, a little bit stressful, sort of recovering from COVID and not feeling on top of things for a bit, and then sort of getting back into things and feeling okay, but still having a ridiculous workload, which doesn't seem to have reduced in any way, shape or form, even though I have delivered work to clients, but there just is still this never-ending list. But yeah, I'm hoping that in November I get it all done and clears the way for December, where I've got a pretty intensive piece of work for the first 2 weeks. And then, yeah, I'm hoping to have the rest of December and then January off, which will be nice. So we're in the week starting the 11th. And here I've got a mushroom that's sort of like an inverted mushroom, one of the ones that goes up rather than sort of a dome that hangs over. And I've got a little fairy sitting in that with crossed legs, and then another little fairy flying overhead, waving at the other one. And then 3 little cat mushrooms on the bottom as well. But yeah, so I think November will still be a bit of a crazy month in workload. I've got 2 markets. Oh, my zine market in October went really well. I was very happy with that. It's definitely one of those things that they're very much sticker people. And hi to the one person who actually watches these videos that I met there. That was very bizarre, very, very bizarre. But yeah, it's just very weird. So yeah, that went really well. But I've got a couple of markets this month, and I'm doing a journaling course up in Ulverston at the end of this month. So if you are up in that area, it's being held at the Hive. You can find details, it's being run through the council. You can find details on Facebook, and yeah, by all means, sort of come along if you're interested in getting some visual journaling skills. It's quite a fun workshop, and I give you pens, so it's not too stressful. But yeah, so it'll be a bit of a busy month, which I am quite looking forward to some of the things that I'm getting to do this month, which will be fun. But I'm also really looking forward to getting a few pieces of client work that have taken quite a bit of time to finish and to get over the line. I'm really hoping I get them finished this month. There's one of them that is so close to being done now, and it's been going since June. So I'd really like to finish it. It would be great if that could happen. And I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will get it done and dusted this month. So on this page, we're on Monday the 18th. I've got some really rounded cap mushrooms with a little fairy reaching out to a ladybird that's on one of them. And then I've got another fairy that's basically got her head stuck in a flower, pulling it down to sort of enjoy the aroma of the flower. Then for the last week of the month, so starting Monday the 25th, on the left-hand side, I've got a fairy who's carrying a flower, like a big flower, and she's actually got a mushroom hat on. Let's say it's a mushroom hat. That's what it looks like. And then on the right-hand side, I've got, it's like a night scene where there's a mushroom and I've got the back of a fairy, so you can just see her head and then her wings. And she's sitting on top of that looking up at the moon and the stars. But yeah, so I've had a lot of fun with the fairies, off with the pixies if you like. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with them this month, and I don't know. I'm like I said, I need to start thinking about what I'm going to sort of be doing for next year. And there's a little part of me that's like, well, I quite liked theming, and not just being a little bit sort of erratic about things, but then it also comes with its own stress and it takes a lot of extra work. So I don't know. If anyone has any ideas of what they'd like to see, please feel free to chuck it in the comments. More than happy to sort of, do that if you'd like. Oh, the cut there is that the phone ran out of memory, which is great. Anyway, here is my bullet journal for the month of November. I hope you have a really lovely November. I hope to see you back at the end of the month for drawing up December. And everyone stay safe out there. Thank you for being here, and all the things that I never ask you to do, subscribe, share, whatever, if you would like. Thanks a lot. Bye.